Success Show, we like to talk about how can business owners create more success in their business, more profitable businesses, at the same time having time and balance and harmony to do all the other things that are so important as well, like family, like other leisure activities, like adventure, faith, friends, and all the other awesome fun and good stuff. And today, you're going to enjoy this show. I have none other than Dr. Travis Fox from North America, USA, in fact. And let me tell you a little bit about him before I get him up on to speak with us and inspire us and give us some information. He's a celebrity teacher and trainer. He holds not only one, but 2 doctorates. He's an award-winning business owner, television presenter as well. So he has an Emmy Award. Not many doctors can say that. Now, let me say this. His doctorates are in Psychology and Clinical Hypnotherapy. If you don't know what that is, he's going to break it down very soon, and how he utilized that to help organizations and their individuals and their teams grow. What are the mechanics? What are the things that he does that makes him unique amongst all these other people out there? Now, he has been featured on Yahoo. Yahoo Finance named him as a top 20 entrepreneur for 2020. We're talking about less than a year ago, right? And he's one of the top 20 Instagram influencers as nominated by BuzzFeed. You are in for a treat. He's been featured on many podcasts, many radio shows, many TV shows, too many to name. I'll let him do that in a moment. So with no further ado, Dr. Travis Fox, thank you for being here at the Business Success Show. Tell us a little bit about you, what you do presently. That would be great. Go ahead.
How do I follow that act, Mac? That was, thank you. First of all, thanks for letting me be on the show. And secondly, every time I hear my resume reviewed before a top of a show or a presentation, I always ask, are they talking about me? Have I done all that? And I think I always invite everyone, first thing we do whenever we have a conversation, whether it's an entrepreneur or a corporation or an MLM or whoever we're working with, is, do you remember how you got here? Most of us forget. And we forget, and I'm not talking about dragging the past with us, but we forget the steps that have actually we've acquired or that have gone through to get to where we are. Some of those steps we wish we hadn't taken, but remember, there's always necessity in every step that you take. And I think the thing that really gets people excited is, remember when you were a kid, and all of you, everyone listening to Mac's show, you have this innate ability that came with your body, and it was called the ability to transform yourself into different worlds. You would know that as a kid as your imagination. The funny thing is, if you really look at what happened somewhere around 17, 18, 19 is usually where we see this major shift, even in the millennials, if you will, and the younger generation that's now coming up, is they have mastered that skill. And then all of a sudden there is this odd, strange thing called, you got to grow up, you got to be an adult, you got to get responsible. You've got to do all these other things. Here's the problem. We fundamentally have no idea, no mental frame of reference, zero clue how to do or be an adult when we've mastered for the first 17, 18 years of our lives being transformative, imaginative creators. I'm not talking creator as in woo-woo, although that's there. I'm talking about we could literally go, you know what? I want to go to the moon. What would it be like if I was on the moon? Or, hey, I want to be an athlete. What would it be like if I started training? Or I want to be in drama club, or I want to do some whatever. And whatever it was, we didn't resist exploring it more often than not. We just transformed ourselves. And then all of a sudden we got into the space of non-transformation as a way to be an adult. And then we wonder why our business hits this, beautiful glass ceiling that we keep beating our head against the wall, or we never really architect the life that we want. And so to answer your question long-windedly, for the last 31 years, that's what our company does. And UBQ, which is Ultimate Business Quest, is really in the business of igniting transformative change. And we use basic, well-funded business principles along with practical coaching and architecting, but it's done in a space that is presented in fantasy gameplay. Now, every one of you business owners are out there and go, well, I don't have time for gameplay. And my response is, you need to make time for gameplay, because in the fantasy realm, or what's called your imagination or subconscious or shadow conscious, if you will, that's where all possibilities and true transformation of you exists. Yet you have been so busy trying to be an adult and trying to be, intelligent and try to make good business decisions and yada, 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 that you forgot that the fuel of passion, the fuel of transformation, the fuel of ignition is what got you to try to be an adult. It's being an adult is what's keeping you from enjoying the life that you really want, which is really being a kid inside a bigger body and don't need anybody's permission to do it like you did when you were a kid. And that's what Ultimate Business Quest really does.
So are you saying simply for business owners to improve, you take them through scenarios, they play games, they have adventures, and they become a kid again so that they can create and imagine and then bring that to fruition? Is that the kind of work?
I would say no, it's even bigger than that. We actually guide you on a quest. I mean, let's think about it. When we really backpedal into this,
all right,
the number one thing that every one of us wants to do is live an adventurous, fulfilling life.
Right.
Period. Now, how you describe that is, a billion different ways, of course, and probably infinite to infinite ad infinitum, because we're all infinite creators. We're constantly creating. The difference is we don't know how to take that adventure, turn it into true belief structures that ignite us from within and create, not just for yourself, but for your team, for your sales team, for your hiring process, for your clients, for your relationships, for every person you meet, this lifelong spark. It's the spark that we want. It's the spark that we miss. It's the snap of the first time you see, an attractive woman or attractive man, or that's the class our thing's going to go, or that's the person we want to hire. That's the product we're going to go. It's that spark. The problem is we've mastered it for the first 17 years of our lives, and then we've spent the next decades unmastering it by becoming an adult and relying solely on cognitive logic, which makes no sense. Here's the burden of proof, family. Science has proven now over the last 50 years, I've got 31 years under my belt themselves and saying, hey, look, if we're really going to create a belief shift that's going to allow you to kind of catapult into that next level and catapult over your excuses and abandon these doubts, these insecurities, all of these misconceptions that you've taken on about yourself or about life or about business, and embark on a journey, an adventure of discovery, it's got to be in the land of possibility. But in cognitive conscious thought process, possibility doesn't exist. It is based on wizard archetype. A wizard analyzes stuff. That's what we do. We analyze crap, but that's not imaginative. It's just data. And data is important. But when you start to really look at how we function as a person and as a company, are we all really, as the great Shakespeare said, we're all the world is a stage and we're all just casting characters depending on which theater we choose to embark in. So wherever we're at, we're in fantasy gameplay. Our whole life is a fantasy. Often they say, that nursery rhyme that we all heard as a kid and completely forgot as an adult, which is row, row, row your boats gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. So if life is but a dream, and that's rooted deep in your subconscious thinking it's a nursery rhyme, but we've proven scientifically, this is where we change belief structures. This is where we abandon doubts. This is where you find out, as Joseph Campbell said, the hero's resources that are hidden in the dungeon of their castle that have been buried and trampled on because you've been told this, you've done that, you're not this, you should be that. All of these things that you've been told as outside sources, becoming an adult, and you forgot that the creation that you really wanted, the passion, the ignition step, is the one that's really keeping you from it, is because you keep trying to go into reality. The funny thing is there's no bloody thing as reality. That's the funny thing. Reality is a perceptually based thing. So why not go into fantasy gameplay, make business fun again, and instead of pointing fingers at each other and go, well, Mac, you need to get your sales up because the sales are suffering, or, hey, you know what, hiring department, you need to get better in hiring and firing because you're costing us $30,000 every time you hire and fire somebody, which is actual fact here in the United States. Right? Or, hey, my customer, I have no idea who my customer is and how they're showing up because all I'm trying to do is sales pitch them. If you start making the adventure of understanding, unlocking the puzzles, because we all love puzzles, when you start unlocking the puzzles of yourself, you start to recognize transformation is not a scary thing like you've been taught. Because as an adult, you're told if you transform yourself, you've got to start over. You got to do it again. You know what? You're a failure. You screwed up. You didn't make it successful.
Mm.
Bollocks. That's total BS, mate.
You
What
said
that is
bollocks.
really,
That's a very
total,
English thing to say. You said bollocks.
bollocks, mate. Yeah, I've spent a lot of
That's a
time in
very
UK. I got a lot of friends there, and I'm like, it's bollocks. You know, I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, it's like listen to what's actually being said to you, and start recognizing you are hypnotizing yourself, whether you're aware of it or not. That really brings us to a really fun scientific term that's going to sound cool on the show. And that is, are we unconsciously competent or are we consciously competent? The ultimate quest and the business quest is to take you into fantasy play and bring your unconscious resources that you have been stuffing down into the dungeon of your kingdom and acting like that's the misfit in you. And if they find out, they'll know that I'm a mess. If they find out I really don't know what I'm doing and I'm just on an adventure too, it'll blow my whole image. Let me save you a lot of time, business owners. After 31 years and literally over 1 million people worked with to date and still going and just getting started, this is where change occurs. It does not occur in conscious cognitiveness. In fact, that's why you stay awake at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling fan. And guess what? Your passion slowly dies because your logic continues to tell you no, 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 no. Yet history will dictate two inevitable facts. Every major battle and every major corporation at one time going from good to great, going from okay to legend, had that moment where they had to follow something that nobody else understood. It did not make conscious sense. And yet we all go, wow, they're one of the lucky ones. No, they're not. That's the problem. You keep telling yourself this stuff because you've been taught to hypnotize yourself and have no idea how you're doing it. Unconsciously cognitive. That is what we actually do in eradication. And we make it fun because we put you into reality. It sucks. But when we put you into a fantasy play where we can make all possibility real, because you don't resist in fantasy because you have no frame of reference for it. You can't. You have no idea how to resist it. And why would you? What happens is it stokes your imagination. It inspires you and bang, you bring it back into your reality. Massive impact. And people go, dang, Mac, something's different about you, bro. What happened? Did you go on a diet? Did you start working out? You're like, no, I transformed me. Right. And they're like, well, how'd you do that? Funny you should mention that. And then the ultimate business quest is now in the palm of your hand. And we put it all in an app. We've taken 2 years to design it. It's all gamified. It's leadered. And it's done in a way that makes fun because let's be honest, every one of you out there listening to Mac's show, I have done more corporate trainings than I know what to do with that both myself and the audience are bored to tears. Why? Not because I'm not a great speaker or not because they weren't having fun, because it is mind talking to mind.
Absolutely.
As the great Einstein said, mind can't solve itself, family. So to sit there and say you're learning leadership skills and learning sales techniques and learning all this from mind to mind is bollocks. All you're doing is hearing a bunch of stuff and going right back to whatever your program was, maybe one or two little things, but it will not stick more often than not. And we wonder why we cannot get past these certain KPIs, why our sales only go up 1% to 2%. We're just kind of staying there. And I hate to break it to you, family, but there's only one thing that looks like your sales line when it's like this, and that's called your EKG. And that's when you're fucking dead. You're dead. You're dead.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah, you got to go back. That's what we do.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah,
how did you get into this line of work? What happened?
Easy.
How did you? Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, and what's really cool is myself and my partners, fellow quest masters, at the end of the first map, which is the Ultimate Business Quest 1, Claiming Your Throne, we actually tell you our real stories. How did we claim our thrones? How have we been doing this? All 4 partners, between the 4 of us, you have 110 years collective experience with me in the lead at 31, minimum 20 plus, all in our respective fields. And the reason we did it is we're like, look, I've been in the self-transformation, the self-help space for a long time. And one of my pet peeves is that the people on stage are idolicized as, hey, they've got it made. No, they don't. They're up there working their crap out and teaching you how to work out your crap that's parallel to theirs. So it's not about being a better you or being like them or being like me. It's about finally being you. That goes against the grain of what you know. How do I know that? Because that was my story. My father, I grew up in Japan and Germany for the first 10 years of my life. And when I had a brief stint here in the United States at about 5, my father put a golf club in my hand. And that was our way to relate. And I was good at it. Long story long. So my whole career is planned out for me. Everybody knew. You go look at my high school yearbook, and we just had our big reunion a couple of weeks ago, and it still said this day: Travis Fox, PGA Tour professional, tour bound. Everybody knew that Travis Fox was going to be a PGA Tour professional. Wow. I knew it. I was hypnotizing myself to believe it. It was very good, junior golf, all the things, blah, blah, blah. But there's this funny little thing that comes along that we just talked about. There's when you are in reality and what's going on in your subconscious usually are an ocean apart. And your subconscious always wins because it's just a big old computer. It runs the show, period. My subconscious goes, this isn't really your path. So here's what we're going to do to self-sabotage. We're going to become a father. What? We have zero preparedness to be a father at all. Al, but we're going to go one step further. Just in case you think you got it handled, Fox, we're also going to throw in heartbreak. We're going to let you experience what it feels like to get your heart smashed for the first time, where you start not to trust your heart, because that's the transition from here to an adult, right? So I ended up self-sabotaging myself, and I went from literally becoming, champion to becoming head case. Wow. Now, here's the funny thing. If you were to look at that from an outside story, you'd go, wow, that's just another tragedy of, unrealized potential. Bollocks, mate. It was the path I'm supposed to be on, which I've been on now for 31 years. And yes, I've gone back to golf. I've taught at the PGA Tour. I've done all these great things in the world, and that's great. And I solved it, but it never solved it for my father. So we get to look at, in this fun little thing, how did I become that? Because I had to learn who I was, not who my father wanted me to become. And many of us, even in those of you who are in business, whether you're successful or not, and however you die in success, ask yourself, are you really in that because you want it? Or because you were told that's what you were supposed to do? And if you're like most, we were doing what we're supposed to do. And then we wait till we're 40, 45 and we go, crap, I need to go live my life because I'm on the back nine. I'm like, yep, you are. What'd you do in the front? Well, what'd you learn? Well, you learned what not to do. And that's valuable. And that's what I learned too. Golf has taken me around the world, and it's an amazing adventure. And we still have it to this day. And I still do high-end sports performance with it. And I love it. But I don't love golf as a career. I love watching people transform, grow their businesses, truly create companies and brands and lifestyles, because that's how you change lives. You employ people, you give them opportunities, you make them part of a quest. We're going to go do this. We're going to disrupt this industry. That's what we really want to be a part of. Jobs suck. And I realized that golf was a job, and I destroyed it. And from there, I went into as a real estate major, and obviously didn't come out that way. And I went to the psychology department, and their first response was they wanted to do more of a Freudian and kind of Gestalt model on me. Okay. And I was like, look, that's great. I don't need to go live in the past. I've been there. I've already done it. I'm not going to blame my dad or my mom for my golf game or for becoming a father. I'm well aware of how to move my body. What I need to understand is, why am I on the golf course? And all of a sudden, everything I've spent the last 20 years mastering has just gone out the bloody window. I don't know how to get back to who I was. And what ended up becoming my mentor, who I sat under for 15 years, was the one that really introduced me to subconscious modalities, and even more so the shadow, and said, look, it is this deep psychological programming that we need to have a process, a blueprint, an architectural structure, so that you can unwind yourself, because you are programmed to be this other guy. This is Travis, my dad's version, but that has nothing to do with Travis, who we are. And a lot of us do that in business too. And so you start to learn, how do we show up? Well, if I do that with you now, boring, scary, you're not going to do it. Why? I got 31 years of experience and say you're not going to do. Human beings won't change unless there's one key element. It must be adventurously fun. If it's not, you won't do it. You won't. I don't care if there's $1 billion waiting for you. You won't do it. If I said, Mac, you got 6 months, you got to put on 30 pounds of muscle mass. You got to get every part of your body in shape. You can never eat anything but a regimented diet to get your body mastered. And if you do it, I'll give you $1 million. 95% will fail. Why? Because it's not fun unless you have the blueprint on how to make everything fun. And the only way we have found through time, from working with at-risk youth, we're working sex trafficking survivors, working with abuse, psychological, emotional, financial, absolute ruin, divorce, you name it. We've worked with every one of them to understand the key element is you must move into the emotional fantasy realm first. And here's the proof, family. Let's blow it out of the right here on Mac's show. Okay, every single one of you worldwide has been taught this: mind, body, spirit. That's right. That's not the issue of the elements. It's the sequence that's the issue. Because if Einstein, one of the greatest minds of all time, said mind can't solve itself, then why in the bloody hell are you over there trying to do mindset crap with somebody else's mind? That's insane. That's like beating your head against the wall and expecting it to become a door. It's nuts. And yet we spend 900 billion with a B, billion every year on leadership and training thing that creates because it's mind talking to mind. So we really sat back and reorganized. We took all the data, we reorganized it. We looked at it. And we said, what is it people really, what's the common element? The common element, it must be emotionally adventurously fun. It must be immersive, because if it's immersive, you can't have a frame of reference. You can't say, well, that's not going to work. This is all BS. It just sucks, which is what you say when you're in the training anyways, because you're bored out of your freaking mind, because you have to be there because it's obligation. And we're playing this game with it. The company's investing in their people, and the people are like, yes, we're learning. Lie. We're not. 90% of the time, it's just a budgetary thing, right? It's just a way to keep people just kind of in the loop that they're doing something. Some companies have evolved from that and I'm really proud of that. But most, especially small and medium cap companies that don't necessarily have the funds for it, that's when we really looked at them and went, wait a minute. Why isn't this fun? Why does change have to suck? Why? Who said change sucked anyways? Because we all know change is constant. But the question is, are we constantly transforming ourselves to what we choose to be, or are we reacting and then seeking to change, but we really don't? We're just reacting to that situation so we can go back into what we're familiar with. Sadly, it's usually the latter. We drop into familiar. Here's the problem with familiar. You already know it. And let's blow this one last thing out, and I'll stop on that is, everybody talks about this law of attraction thing. Okay, I admit I'm the black sheep in the family when it comes to that, and I have a little bit of license to talk about it. I was one of the co-producers in the sequel, and also in the film.
Okay.
Yeah, I was one of the co-producers, but I was the only one that said, "Excuse me, this is all well and good, but if you're not willing to go to the beautiful dungeon, the beautiful darkness of yourself down here at the emotional level, you're wasting your time. You are mentally masturbating, looking at a wall and going, yo, Mac, I'm staring at this purple Lamborghini every single freaking day. I'm going to manifest a purple Lamborghini."
Right.
Okay, let me know how that works out for you, mate. Why? Mind can't get past itself. What you're doing is you're seeking to convince yourself of a truth you know is total bollocks. You're doing it. And yet you say, no, I'm manifesting. No, you're not. You've got to move down to the emotional and become it. But the only way you can do that is to drop into fantasy and play. And when you do that, now there's this newfound gateway. Now you can have unending achievement because you already felt it. Now you have a frame of reference. You don't have a frame of reference up here. It can't. It can only work off the past. And that's what's made it so powerful. And for us, even more so, because we get to be quest guides. And what I mean by that is we're not coming around saying, well, we've got it all figured out. No, we know how to help you get a blueprint and put it all in a sequence that allows, after 30 plus years of experience, to go, this is how you'll figure it out. As long as we guide you here, tell you what the experience is, give you the puzzles, the adventures, you'll do it in a whole new way, and it won't feel like transformation, and it'll be fun. And instead of finger pointing and anger, it's, yo, I understand how Mac works. Mac's a wizard. Got it. Wizards analyze things. They're geniuses. We also know their balance of universes. They also tend to find the flaw in things. Cool. So wizards probably aren't good salespeople, but they're damn good CFOs. They're damn good analytics on our social media and what our e-com is doing. We need that data, but we need to find other parts of personalities that fit the bill, because it takes a team to build an empire. No man, no woman has done it alone. And that's what makes it fun. We do it together.
It sounds amazing. And I can see what makes you, it sounds fantastic, actually. Very adventurous. Makes it different. I like the way you broke down the law of attraction thing and said, look, it doesn't start from the mind. It starts from the emotion, and unlocking that emotion and feeling it, being it, and then moving from there. So tell me something. Tell me about Can anyone be hypnotized, or can anyone hypnotize himself? And what's the power of hypnosis? What is the true power in terms of the transformation process?
Yeah, great. The answer is yes, you're already hypnotized. You did it to yourself. You just didn't know you did it, right? Our expertise and what my mentor taught me all those years, and it took me years to really understand what he was doing, is freaking brilliant, was teaching me reverse hypnosis. And the ideology was I spent years hypnotizing, working with people, thinking that I was actually doing it. When he finally broke it down, he goes, Fox, you're not understanding why I've taught you all of this, because he taught me some very advanced techniques that we don't really teach a whole lot anymore, which is sad to me, but okay. Well, we'll remedy that with the quest. Here's the deal. Most people are hypnotizing themselves all day long. They just don't realize how they're doing it. Why? Let me get on my soapbox because this is our mission statement at large. Our educational system does not teach us how to manage this at all. In fact, it teaches you the opposite. We will manage it for you. Do what you're told. Stand in line. Raise your hand to be spoken to. If you get out of line, we punish you. Get good grades. Live up to your potential. Yeah. Well, shit, where do I explore me and all that? How do I learn how to manage me? You don't. You know how you do it? Oh, that's right. You graduate in debt, in slavery, and then you get to go to this beautiful school called the School of Hard Knocks and get your butt kicked for another 10, 20 years, and maybe longer, in some cases lifelong, and miss it. So everybody's already hypnotized. What we'd actually do is I actually use covert hypnotic techniques to help you wake yourself up. You're already under. You know how I know that? You keep doing the same thing over and over again, and you keep trying to convince yourself of something you know is not true. Okay, that's not hypnosis. That is you using mental masturbation, or commonly called affirmations or positive mental statements. Well, first of all, if they're positive, who's judging whether they're positive or negative within you? So there's got to be two of you talking. Someone judging the comment, someone making the comment, which means you're still in your head. The EC formula, which is really the backbone of my work and really kind of the spinal architecture throughout the UBQ with my fellow teachers, is really understanding the EC formula. And once you get it, you're like, holy crap, I have been really making this really challenging on myself. I'm like, yeah. And you say you're afraid of going on an adventure with us? Hell, you're bloody adventurous. You don't even know it. You're beating the crap out of yourself, making it twice as hard so that you can prove that you've got the gusto to do it, and you can go through the fires, and you will be forged and hammered and become this great warrior. Well, if you actually understand archetypal symbology, the warrior has nothing to do with fight without heart. Heart means passion. Passion means I know my purpose. If I know my purpose, then I'm scope locked. Then I'll go fight for it. But 90% of the time, the fight is not external. The fight's getting this thing, that wizard brain of yours, to stop telling you all the reasons you can't do it, which is where your hypnosis comes in, because most of our chatter internally is constantly, Mac, you can't do it. Not good enough. You'll never be this. You're not that. That's for the lucky people. Why are you keep doing that? You know it's not going to work. The money's never going to show up. You're a blue collar person. You're not a white collar person. You're not one of those, all that shit. And it's just constant. So I sit back and go, I don't need to hypnotize you. You're already there. What I need to do is guide you to wake yourself up and show you in a fun way, in fantasy realm, held in the palm of your hand at any given moment, the ancient wisdom of how hypnosis actually works. It is an EC formula sequence. And that makes it more fun. Again, if it's not fun, you're not going to do it. How do I know that? 31 years of experience of watching human dynamics. You ain't going to do it. Why? Because you have been practicing, and I use that term very loosely, myself included, at the ripe age of now 51, and I'm getting younger as my chronological age cruises along. I'm actually Benjamin Button, and I program myself to be that because I believe that why not? When it's enjoyable when you're a more of an adult body, because you kind of a deeper sense of who you are. But that notwithstanding, when you really look at it, we are scared for people to find out that we have deeper desires than we're willing to admit. And I go, okay, let's start with the basics. Travis, I want to be a $10 million gross revenue company a year. What are you at? Well, we're doing just over $1 million. Okay, so we need to 9x your business. Tell me where the 9 reasons you haven't done it, and you'll give me 9, just like that. I'll say, great, Mac, tell me the one thing that will give you a 9x return. And it's always some lame wizard answer like, oh, we need more customers, or we need our KPIs to go up. We need more sales. No, you don't. You need to get the bloody hell out of the way. You are the issue because you are trying to solve a mind issue with your mind. Your mind cannot transform itself unless it comes from this way. But we've made that so woo-woo. We've made that so, Mac, you need to go and shave your head, and which you've already done. Good job. And now you need to put on an orange robe, sir. And you need to abandon all things of sense of wealth. And you need to pursue the spiritual path and abandon all. Shut up. Okay, that's what you want. That's great. But let's be candid. That's not what most people want in business. They want one thing: freedom. That's why you got into business. That's the driver. Bottom line, you want the freedom to choose when and where you work and what you're doing, because the rest of your life, you want to spend traveling, personal relationship, kids, adventure. Cut the crap. And if you don't believe me, go hang out at the nearest nursing home or assisted living home and talk to the wise elder folk who've done the journey. They will tell you it's one of those 4 things they wish they had done more of. It's not about, gee, I wish I'd sat around on the side of a mountain and got deeper. Some people do that. You're spiritual anyways. You're bloody here, mate. You're here. You're spiritual. If you want to make that your life's path, cool. But most people who are in business want to be in business for freedom.
Absolutely.
They want freedom for themselves, freedom for other people. And they want to be able to say, hey, I was a part of that. I was a part of Google. I was a part of Yahoo. I was a part of, Apple. I was a part of Tesla when it first started, because they want the adventure of creating something bigger than themselves. And we all say, like, for example, Mac's in a film. Every one of you listening to Mac's show right now, if you saw Mac in a feature film, a big worldwide film, you go, I know Mac. I know Mac. I've been following Mac since he was doing his podcast. Okay. So what that tells you is we all want to be part of that adventure. So we've got to figure out first, how come you're so afraid to be adventurous, yet you spent 17 years of this life, every single one of us, 17 years of this life, mastering being adventurous and fearless and imaginative and risking it all because you knew back then you could rebuild it. It didn't scare you. Now you put all this other evaluation on yourself and consider that starting over. Yeah, starting over, it's the next evolution. I've had money, lost money, had money, lost money, had money again. Yes, having money is better than not. I agree. But when you understand the skills, it's like literally finding an old scroll, like the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's like, here's the ultimate business quest secret, the secret to the secret, by the way. And it's this unlimited power, and it's disguised in a phone app. Boom. All you got to do is push the app, start taking the adventure. Everything's built in. And the reason we did this, and I hold myself in contempt, so I fall on my sword, because I was one of those guys who stood on the stage for 15 years and said, buy my expensive high ticket shit in the back, knowing that 80 to 90% of you would never get past step 1. I think that sucks. That's not a legacy. Not in my book. I'm not saying it's bad. I just don't want to be a part of it anymore. So I abandoned it and said, we need to re-architect this whole thing in a different way so that it's disruptively fun, which we are. Yeah. We are the first in our world to do it. 2, it's an ongoing quest. Because see, the ultimate business quest is just your starting point. When you go to the All Realms, which is really our holding company, you're going to go and find out that we're actually a human puzzle company. We help you find the missing pieces and discover the missing pieces of the 9 realms of humanity. Business is the lowest of the 9. Why? Because it is the most tangible result. It immediately creates transformation in you, and it ignites that adventure in you that you will need to go on the next other 8 adventures and truly, into your language, which is why I loved your show, balance your life. We call that the BPR. We even have it in the app, where the app will ping you every day, every hour, and go, hey, Mac, what did you actually focus on this hour? Because all of us love to BS and go, Mac, I'm pulling 12-hour days, bro.
What are you doing in those 12 hours? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, show me what you did in those 12 hours, and I'll tell you, you're probably working 4 and you're doing other crap the other 6. Yeah. We call it social media. There's nothing media about social anymore. Social media is about one thing, selling you something. Absolutely. End of discussion. Period. Just call it what it is. Call it what it is.
Dr. Travis, let me ask you this. I love your passion. I love your energy, by the way.
Thank you,
I keep quiet because you're giving so much awesomeness.
Thanks, Abe.
It's fantastic. All right, listen, I want to hear more about the app, okay, in a moment. Sure. But I want to, before I go into that, I want to know, what is the big vision or the mission that you are on, you and your partners? What is the big vision or mission in this transformation space?
Great question. 1, we want to make business fun again. Primary objective, focusing specifically on small and medium cap companies. They make up 80% of the GDP of almost every country on this planet, United States, UK, Canada. It's really the small and medium cap businesses. Here's the problem. Fundamentally, they want to improve. They want better customer service. They want better sales. They want better hiring and firing, and they want to make their culture fun. But they don't necessarily have the budget to go out and spend $30, $40, $50, $100,000 every quarter on that. They don't, but that's who we need. So that's our first objective. Our second is timeout. If we're truly going to transform and we're going to allow the human race to create this great evolution of technology, wouldn't it make sense to put it in the palm of every child's hand. And let's take the gaming industry, which is fraught with rape and violence and sex and drugs and stealing and all of this crap that really programs a young mind to that's what business is and that's what a brand is. Why can't you take that same fantasy gameplay and use it in a way that is entrepreneurial? It teaches them self-transformation. It teaches them to transform their fears. It teaches them to understand there's an excuse and understand why they commit before they commit. It teaches them how to claim their throne, to know who they are. So they're on purpose. They have passion for a lifetime. They know their vision. They're on a mission and they will not change it because they know it's the adventure of a lifetime, and leave legacies, because that's what we all really want in business. To that end, we want to change the educational system, specifically in the United States, but ultimately around the world, back into a learning system and put gaming the way we do it in schools from the age of 7 and up, so much so that we even have the Ultimate Business Quest Foundation now, where other companies can donate and we run contests so these kids can learn, because it's all gamified. They earn tokens, they learn problem solving, they learn conflict resolution, but they do it in a way where it doesn't sound like all those psychologically intense terms that we like to use as adults because we sound cool and we sound like doctors. Who gives a shit? Kids want to go, I want to understand why I don't understand that person. Well, we can understand what bullying really is. We can understand sales, creativity, because they already are in fantasy land. We screw them up as adults and say, you need to abandon that. You need to grow up, be a big boy, suck it up, be an adult. I have no idea how to be an adult. I'm 12. What the hell are you talking about? You've asked me to be a kid and enjoy it. It's so contrarian programming. And we wonder why around 15, all of our kids get a little, because I have no idea what the hell you're saying, mom and dad. One minute you're saying, don't do as I do as I say. What the hell does that mean? Secondly, you're saying you need to grow up. You need to get responsible. You need to start thinking about what you're going to do for the rest of your life. I am doing what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I'm going to enjoy the hell out of it, because every single parent, every single one, I'm a 3-time parent and grandfather. So I hold myself accountable and on the stage at the same time going, time out. Isn't what every parent wants, and every business owner too, is that the next generation has it better than we had it, and we leave something behind from the mistakes, the successes, whatnot. Well, damn it, let's get on the front line and let's teach them. And the Ultimate Business Quest in all realms does that in a completely immersive 3D gameplay where they can go and do all of these things, from learning finance to understanding relationship structure, to understand how to transform themselves, to build businesses, but it's all in fun and gameplay, because the moment we make business serious, we're gone. And yet, every single one of you watching this beautiful podcast, I promise you, marvel at the juggernauts, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk. You marvel at them. But if you look at their base plate, they had 2 strong commitments. They knew their passion, their purpose, their mission. They would not deviate to the point of being a schmuck at times if necessary. That's a king and queen making the call. This is my kingdom. This is what I'm creating. I'm standing behind my word. Simultaneously, they're visionary kids. They're playing. Right. I mean, think about it. I mean, Elon Musk has got more money. He's now broken the record, the richest man in history, and he wants to go to bloody Mars. That is someone who is immersed in fantasy gameplay, and we've watched him do it, and we marvel. And my response is, are you done being on the sidelines of your own life? Or are you ready to get in the adventure of a lifetime? Let's go create some coin. Let's slay some dragons. Let's build your empire in the fantasy so that you can do it in the real world and get out of your own damn way, all in the palm of your hand. That's
wow. I love it. Beautifully explained. And for those, where I want to go now is this. For those people who want to know more about Dr. Travis Fox, or they want to know more about the Quest app, where can they go? For those, actually, let me put it a different way. For those people who are ready for the adventure of their life and their business, where do they go? Fire away.
Simple. Apple, Google, download the go. Type in UBQ, Ultimate Business Quest. You'll see this logo, download it. And by the way, for any of you out there saying I can't afford it, stop. The reason why you're saying that is you're saying that you're not valuable enough. Your business is exactly growing or shrinking based on you. You're it. That means CEO, that means boardroom, solopreneur, entrepreneur, coach, speaker. It doesn't matter, because we're all in the same business. We're all in the people business. It doesn't matter. I go, Mac, what business are you in? People go, well, I'm in e-com. You're in the people business. No, well, I'm in logistics. You're in the people business. We do real estate. You're definitely in the people business, because nothing on this planet does business except for humans to humans.
True. All your money is with other human beings. So
Right. So just download the app. So what did we do? We went the other way. Instead of being a high ticket item with a one-time offers and upsells and this never ending funnel thing. And I know I was a part of it too. So I hold myself accountable. Everything's in the app. You get your business plan, you get your BPR, which is your business personal relationship balance. We even introduce you to all companies that will help you biz. No upsells, no BS. It's $2.99 a month, $36 for the entire subscription for the year. That's it. Okay. Why? Because if we start making business fun again, every single one of you out there, think about this. It's just a million people doing that will change business. But those million business owners, every single one of you out there has someone you work with, a team that's around you, people that are employees, people that want to be. So a million is really 10 million. And now you get the movement. And now power's always been in the people, my friends. Always has, always will be. It topples governments. It makes movements. It's the transformation we all want. It takes all of us to do it. And we're all on the quest to be ahead. And mark my words, I said it right here on Mac's show. So gear up, boys and girls. And this is a global comment. The number one challenge our kids are going to deal with in the next coming years is mental health. Guaranteed. Yeah. We have got to get ahead of this tsunami, or it won't be another generation. It will make the travesties that we've had here in the United States and around the globe look like kids play, because we have been immersing them for so long in this other fantasy gameplay of death and murder and rape and stealing and all this other stuff, because it makes them feel powerful. Mm-hmm. And then they transform that into their reality. Holy shit, we're back to science again. What if we did it in a way that was fun? The adults are doing it too in their business model, and it transforms the family. And the family says, let's go on the adventure. Download the app and start the adventure. You can go as fast and slow as you want, but you're a part of a community that understands you are transforming yourself and discovering the ultimate business success by completing the ultimate business quest within yourself in a way that has never been taught to you before, but isn't scary, doesn't take 400 years. You don't have to sit on the side of a mountain and discover why God didn't pick you to be a successful person, because that's bogus too. You really get to understand what is happening. It's very simple. We all are four basic prime archetypes: the warrior, the wizard, the bard, and the jester, right? And when you understand that, and you say, well, Travis, and you can go to our website, which is My Quest app or the ultimatebusinessquest.com, and take the free archetype quiz. It'll tell you in 10 seconds of profile, boom, who you are, at least as you show up. But let's say you show up as a wizard, because like Mac, you're a brilliant wizard. I can do your profile and I got it. He's a brilliant wizard. Okay, that's awesome. Here's the thing. If we're all four archetypes, and we are, and you're only showing up as a wizard, that means only 25% of your potential is even coming to the conscious, competent surface. That means 75% of your untapped resources, is what the hero's journey is all about anyways, is sitting on the sidelines going, put me in, coach. I'm ready to go in. But better yet, what if you are all four simultaneously and consciously, competently aware of it? Then you become the king and queen of your own castle, because every king and queen has a wizard by their side, has warriors at their beck and call, has bards to entertain them in theater and be their messengers and their ambassadors and their emissaries, and the jesters who keep them grounded and remember that every king and every queen has their time and their rule will end. What kind of king and queen will they be? When you're that, now 100% of you shows up. And that's what we mean by right alignment and unrealized potential. And so we do that, and it takes it in a whole fun way. And you can download the app. It does that as well. And again, go to ultimatebusinessquest.com, take the archetypal quiz. You'll hear free samples of what it's like between the four of us. But also too, we have fun. The four of us together as partners, we've had fun. In fact, our company culture is, if it's not fun, we don't do it. End of discussion. I don't care what. Why? Because we've all been through that. This sucks. This is obligation, Does it mean that we walk around, like complete knuckleheads? Yeah, sometimes we do. Why? Because we're enjoying playing, because we're on the adventure too. Quest master just means we've done this quest a lot, 1,000 times, 1,500 times, 2,000 times, 5,000 times. Master doesn't mean we've mastered everything. We haven't. I'm not Elon Musk. You're not Elon Musk. I have no idea how to create an electric car. I think it's cool. I love it. It's amazing. Not where my fantasy lives, but I think it's amazing. And I will honor another king and queen who is creating something that is really cool. And then you start to understand there's a whole different way to approach business. It's not kill or be killed. It's not a dog eat dog world. And there's no such thing as I got to get mine before you get yours. And I'm a self-made man. That is all bogus ego crap because nobody does it alone. And speaking on a personal story, I got to summit Kilimanjaro when I was 48 years old. And I'm not a mountain guy. I'm an ocean kid. And so when I said, I'm going to go to Kilimanjaro, I'm going to summit, everyone thought I was nuts. So you're going to die. And I'm like, yes, I probably will. And at first I was joking about it. And then I started to research. I'm like, oh crap, I might actually die. That's a possibility because it's the seventh tallest mountain in the world. And I'd never been to Africa before and had no idea what I was getting into, but I was on an adventure. But those 6 days and the summit changed my life for 2 reasons. One, I had my conversation with God at 19,000 feet, 341 feet. And you hear about some of this in the adventure from the summit. 2 things occurred. One, I realized when I got to the summit, I was there by myself. Nobody there. So how do you explain an experience? I can't even explain it to you. Say, Mac, brother, I went to the Kilimanjaro summit. It's amazing. You got to see what Mama Kilimanjaro does. No matter what word I give to you, it will not convey the experience. I cannot do it. The English language sucks. It is terrible at conveying experience. So it was lonely. And that's how we tend to feel in business, which is why we self-sabotage ourselves. Mm-hmm. We don't want to be lonely at the top because we've been told it is. So why not all go together? And the second thing I learned, getting to the top of the mountain is only the halfway point. It's not the goal. It's the midway point because you got to get back down the other side into the valley or you die up there alone. So you have to understand that business has the arcs of we're going to create this and maybe we're going to sell it off, or we're going to reignite this different division and we're going to do that. It's a constant hill and valley. Now, if you look at this, kind of looks like your heartbeat, which means you're bloody alive. So when you start seeing all the symbology, you go, man, we're making this really difficult. We don't have
There you go. There you go. Dr. Travis Fox has been in the house. He's inspired us. He's invigorated us. He's taken us from our head to our heart to our emotion. Everything starts from the emotion. Are you ready to live a full, adventurous life? Check out the app and also check out the website, myquestapp.com. Get involved. Get into it. Live a more adventurous life. I want to say to you, Dr. Fox, thank you for your awesomeness. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your passion, because I think you just ignited some other people to come and do what they're really supposed to do, so you can have live more purposefully, live with more passion, and have a more fulfilling life. So thank you for all our listeners. Any final words, Dr. Fox, before we finish?
I just remember one thing. There's only one truth on this planet, family. I've traveled the globe 3 times. This is real simple. No one gets off this planet alive. Period.
There you go.
That's the only truth. Every other story is a narrative by which we arrive at that moment. The question is, do you want to go on a guided journey to discover the hero within you, or are you going to continue to sit on the sidelines and watching other heroes create that epic adventure? Because we're all going to end up here. Remember, as the great Alan Watts said, life doesn't define death. Death defines life. Go on the adventure. You don't save it for a rainy day and leave a legacy behind.
And life is right now. Thank you, Dr. Fox. For all our listeners here, like, share, comment, subscribe, do whatever you need to do. Get us out there. People need to hear about Dr. Travis Fox and his awesome work and this app that's transforming the whole personal development, professional development, business development, wealth development space. Check it out. Thank you, Dr. Fox. Until we speak again, thank you, and God bless you. Keep inspiring, keep